So, welcome to Ammertime podcast, episode number 9.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh, I'm not drunk, I don't think. I'm definitely getting there
yet.
Okay, welcome to Ammertime podcast, episode number 9. Is it episode number 9? I think it's episode number 9. So, lots have happened this week. I think the new edition has actually dropped. 1.0 is here. I'm here today in Falster, Nykøbing.
The other way around?
Nykøbing, Falster. At Simon's bodega. And Simon is a member of Ammertime in like a casual member of Ammertime, I guess.
World famous barber and hairdresser in Falster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only 300 for a haircut.
That's not bad. It's the same price as Copenhagen.
Yeah, exactly. We have a birthday.
For a year with free booze.
Yeah, exactly. And drugs.
Free booze and drugs. Probably shouldn't say that live on the internet, but
Whatever.
yeah. So maybe you guys want to introduce yourselves really quickly. Just say hello. If you'd stop eating.
Hi, I'm Christopher. I've been on the show before. I am very frustrated with the Kingdom of Aquitaine at the current moment.
Sexually frustrated.
Sexually frustrated. I'm not getting any victories, anything. So.
You beat me today. Or was it today? Yeah.
It was today.
And I'm Rasmus. I play the Empire for a while now, and I got the
Empire of Sonnstahl, drink.
I drink. I have the strongest heart on for all of them right now. They are so ridiculous good.
That was the hard on hitting the table. that little noise there. Patrick, you just want to say hello?
Hey, I'm Patrick. I've been on the show before. I play Saurian Ancients at the moment.
Yeah.
Usually I also play High Elves, but right now it's Saurian Ancients. I don't know what to say about them. They feel... It's like...
Okay.
An army that it's only going to lose a little or win a little. It's like 10-10, 12-8, something like that.
I think that's the idea with them though. You kind of have to like just build it like don't give many points, don't take many points.
The army is just full of crappy units, and it takes too long for the opponent to kill them all, so they don't get enough points.
Okay, you want to say hello, Simon?
Hello?
Maybe just come a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Just to introduce yourself, say hello and.
Hello, I'm new to this group, and it's my first time podcasting. I've just tried out the Infernal Dwarf, and I think it's a very solid build, and I think the guys agree.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we can put that one on the team.
Yeah, this weekend we've been down at Simon's place in Nykøbing, Falster, and we've been practicing for our ETC warm-up game. So we've been playing for the last 2 days. Warhammer and I'm going home tonight, but you guys are having another gaming day tomorrow. We're just working out what list we're going to take. This episode is going to be not focused on that though. We're going to be talking about some of the things that we've been seeing with the ETC lists that we've been writing, and just some comments and stuff about some certain builds. So we're going to take a quick break now and wait for the guys to finish eating. We talk about our tournament coming up. It's on the 5th of May. It's called Ammerhammer, or Ammerhammer 1. Just like to thank the whole 9th Age community of Denmark, and also of Europe in general. You guys literally look like you're like haven't eaten in like a week.
Sorry about that.
I'd just like to thank the 9th Age community of Europe for coming behind us on this. And actually, I'd like to thank the 9th Age community of the world that have come behind us on this tournament. It's quite a big deal for us to run a new tournament, and we've had 3 people are flying over from the UK to be a part of it, and 1 person is coming over on the train from Sweden.
He's swimming.
Swimming, dragging his box of models on the way, or using it as a float.
He might be traveling by train.
Yeah, so he's coming over from Sweden. He's been on the podcast before, Casimir. And I'd also like to say a big thank out to a guy called Joe. He gave me an email this week and asked, would you like some donation for the prize money? And I was obviously going to say yes. And it turned out that it came to pass that someone couldn't afford to be a part of the tournament, and Joseph very kindly offered to pay his subscription fee for the tournament. So I'd like to say a big shout out, thank you to Joseph Getzi for giving us a little bit of help for the tournament, and also a shout out to his podcast or YouTube channel. It's called Joe Hammer. I guess he's from Ohio and he plays Warhammer, so it makes sense. A bit like us from Hammer.
Yes.
So yeah, big shout out for him. Yeah.
It's like greenskin clan names. It's a fun
And another thank you to the guys who are coming all the way from the UK to play the tournament. We're really excited to have you coming. So that was the intro for this part.
For the Danish guys coming to play the tournament.
Yeah, well, the Danish guys, you know.
Come
on, they're flying all the way from England. I'm English. I have to give them a bit of a...
It's a big deal flying in for a one-day tournament. I think that deserves applause.
So yeah, we're probably going to go out and get drunk on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll show them the best things that Copenhagen have to offer, and then go around them, and then find the worst places, and then have beers there.
And then make them drink Gammeldansk.
With
chili. What happened the last time?
Well, last time you drank Gammeldansk with chili, you won the tournament the day after.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to make them drink Gammeldansk with chili.
Of champions.
I remember me texting the guys asking how it was and how they survived it, giving their probable hangover. And then I remember Henry saying, "I'm a bit rough." And the next picture I see of Henry is from Patrick, with Henry puking all over the
highway.
The highway, yeah.
I was sick on Patrick's floor, on the highway twice, in the toilet at the event, outside the event, and then I slept. I played a game, I smashed my face in the first game, and then I slept for like 2 hours, and then I played the second game, and smashed face, and then I slept. It was a bit crazy, but yeah, we're going to take you out for Gammeldansk, and when you drink Gammeldansk, you're going to win games. Fact of life. And I think that's this segment's done, and we're going to come back after the break and talk about And we're back. So we're going to talk about gun lines, and when we say gun lines, there's kind of 2 types of gun line, I think, at least that we're seeing in the ETC.
The gun line that works and the gun line that work.
I think they all work to an extent. We have the War Machine gun line with both dwarf armies and the Empire of Sonnstahl army.
Yeah.
And then the bow lines from the Highborn Elves, Sylvan Elves. Sylvan Elves.
And the Orcs and Goblins.
Orcs and Goblins
War
have
Machine.
a War Machine gun line. And they're really strong. We're struggling to find hard counters for these armies. And so I think we're going to talk about the Empire of Sonnstahl gun line, which is by far the strongest of the gun lines.
So far that we know.
That we can work out.
In our experience.
Yeah. And we've played quite a lot, like leading up to this gaming day, and we played a lot this weekend. And so I think Rasmus, you should probably take it away and start with maybe your list.
I can say like in fast about my list. It's an Elder, 2 level 2.
What does the Elder do?
The Elder give aura, hatred, and banishment on a 4+ bounce spell, and he has all the prayers giving
Divine banishment, drink.
Divine banishment, I'll drink.
I can't be the only one getting drunk.
Yeah, so he gives all kind of bonuses. 18 inches leadership,
and the
large target.
Large target. So and he has amazing stat line on that chariot.
And it's 1+, 1+.
1+ against shooting, 2+ in close combat. The Locket of Sunna
He's got
is
reroll.
the older mirror.
Yeah.
Where you switch stats. He has.
Does it have to be in challenge?
In challenges, yeah.
Okay.
And the reroll the dusk stone.
Yeah, to reroll
armor save. So he's 4+ ward save, reroll 2+ armor save in close combat.
Toughness 5.
Toughness 5 wounds, and he holds the entire army together. Here I have a lot of Flaggelants, 2 giant units of Flaggelants.
Yeah.
And
is he a light wizard?
No, he's not a light wizard, but he channel and he has a bounce spell on the force on divine banishment.
Yeah.
Fuck, drink.
But he also has 3 other blessings.
And he has those prayers,
Yes.
giving real to wound, 5+ ward save in close combat or flaming attack. And
Are they bounce spells as well?
everything, yeah, they're bounce spells, and he gets +1 to cast them.
And it's
So
aura.
everything within 6 inches aura.
Automatically.
So whatever, I bring this guy, some light mages, a lot of Flaggelants, steam tank, 2 cannons and a mortar. I have like 9 or 10 games with them now. I had 1 draw and 1 loss, and everything has been 20-0, or really close to that. I've been beating the shit out of my opponents, like wiping them. And that have even been against armies that were supposed to be able to kill my army.
We have simply struggled making, with any army in the game, any kind of list that can reliably, knowing what is coming up against, in that sense in an Empire list, kill it. Actually, so like, knowing that in a rock, paper, scissors game, that your opponent is going to choose the rock, and you go for the paper, and the paper's just not going to do it.
The paper's just wet.
We're sitting here literally like we play almost between everyone. We have every army almost.
Yeah.
And we can't think of a list that beats it.
No.
So like you can't be otherworldly against the army because the banishment is gonna shred you. That double banishment.
Yeah.
So we will just throw half my dice against the divine banishment. I'll drink.
I think it's fair to say that
and half the other dice against the other divine banishment. So and the other world get 3d6 hits.
As do all the undeads and
undeads.
Yeah. So undeads, demons, and
yeah.
everything else that might be otherworldly.
Cannon,
Silver
Titans,
elves that are otherworldly.
Like tree spirits.
Yeah, tree men,
Redeem, Titan, otherworldly.
Yeah.
A lot of
Lots
different stuff.
of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you're not otherworldly, I mean, 2d6.
And how many light wizards do you
Strength
have?
4 with plus how many?
I only had 2 level 2 light mages.
Strength 4 plus 2 to wounds, still good with divine attacks.
Yeah.
And the army still brings a lot of close combat because the Flaggelants, which are extremely crazy.
They're so broken.
They are extremely good because I have the lightning reflex card wagon.
I have no idea
What's
what
it
it's actually called.
I don't even recall. I will drink whatever it's called.
What did it used to be?
So the Flaggelants suffer casualties at initiative 0, having flails, frenzy can never lose it, unbreakable. Being within the altar and this whatever it's called wagon, having plus
Arcane engine.
Arcane engine, and so it has a special name for one of them. And so they're +1 to hit.
Yeah.
Hatred.
Rerolling hits.
So
+1 to hit, rerolling hits. And everyone gets, if they die, they still get to strike.
yeah, and their toughness 4, so shooting on their way is not like an easy task.
Yeah.
And this is without magic.
It's like Slayers, but better, almost.
Yeah.
A lot better. A lot
It's like
better.
Slayers with hatred and
Because
+1 to hit.
these, mind you, the cost of these guys.
It's lower.
These guys are, what is that, 10 points for the first 10.
Yeah.
And then 8 points beyond that.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably inexpensive.
So 30 of them is below 300 points.
For a unit that will, let's say you go in there with a glass cannon unit, such as Swordmasters
Or White Lions.
or White Lions, they will trade you. They will trade you hands down, and they will probably outperform you.
Yeah, even like unit of Swordmasters, like 10 Swordmasters going in there with 15 attacks, hits on freeze, kills on freeze. It's like, that's 7 wounds. Then they still get to strike you back with like 30 attacks or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the engine that gives them the lightning reflexes is called an Arcane engine with Foresight upgrade. And not only does that give you a generic 6+ bubble, a 6-inch bubble, which grants lightning reflexes, it also gives you a thunderbolt from heavens for power level 4 for 140 points, and the thing can contribute to channel. And it's obviously still a chariot with top.
So you channel on the 3+.
So it's the last thing you said was toughness 5 wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a channel on a 3+. So I just say that the army together, the Empire of Sonnstahl, we are struggling to see what can beat it. Like we have been sided with the Listenman Cloud. Sorry, nature, I'll drink.
The Salamander's not even doing enough damage to the Flaggelants.
We have been trying to Kingdom of Ecotin army, hiding behind a hill, still losing 20-0.
Yeah.
It simply wasn't enough to try to have a highly mobile unit try to play an evasion game against it.
Yeah, you can't even draw a 10-10.
No, you simply can't. It will run up and it will beat the living shit out of you. And mind you, we've only talked about all the other thing. There's still 625 points of core in this army.
Yeah. That's without the.
But also you have the
cannons.
No, you have 5
steam
bounce
tank.
spells plus 2 mages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have 5 bounce spells on 3+ or 4+.
The pontiff
3 or
is on
4.
2+,
and
right?
4+.
And
The Pope.
one of them is like one of the best magic missiles in the game. One of them is the contender to one of the hardest hitting magic missiles in the game.
Banishment plus
And
Thunderbolt.
3 of them are auras.
Yeah.
If you hit the line with Flaggelants and the altar in the middle, and you get some of the bounce spells off, you just need 1 or 2.
And the
Then everything else just crumbles to you. And it takes 2 power dice.
And the blessings from cast from the pontiff is cast on a 2+. Because they're power level 3, and they're bounce spells, and he gets +1 to cast, right? So he doesn't suffer from. Does he suffer from broken concentration?
I think you still need to roll a 3.
You still need to roll a 3. Yeah.
You get +1, but you still need to roll a 3.
So you still need to roll a 3, but that's still pretty good for giving bubble 5+ war save in close combat on a power level 3 bounce spell item. I mean, imagine let's say that you had a spell in any other law. And let's say that it was like bubble, 6 inches, everything gets a 5+ war save in close combat.
I mean, Lizardmen will pay.
Lizardmen, drink.
Sorry, Ancient pay almost 300 points for a monster that does that. But that's all it does.
Yeah.
But it's against range though.
Yeah, like we said, we're running this for a team tournament, so we don't really know exactly what we're facing, and then we're obviously making the matchups depending on what we think we're going to see. But even so, even in like an open event, like random singles tournament, this is still going to smash any army off the table.
Absolutely. And mind you, this is before we factor in any kind of gimmicky plays with terrain.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hide all the war machines in the ruin, and that they will be sitting there merrily with -2 to hit them with shooting. And if you charge at them, for instance, with anything fast, such as monsters and cavalry, they will take a metric shit ton of dangerous terrain tests, and will probably like lose far more models that are far more expensive than the war machine they were trying to kill in the first place.
And you still have protection against scouts or ambushes because you can just fill your backline with cheap. I don't know what they call the skirmish troopers.
State militia.
State militia. They're so cheap, so you can easily defend the war machine. You can easily defend your backline.
Yeah.
If you're playing diagonal, or if you're playing normal battle line scenario, you just hide in it. You just take one corner of your deployment zone.
Yeah. And
you can easily defend your lines. It's really hard to get to the war machine. It's really hard to get to anything.
Yeah, maybe Rasmus, you can explain how you use the state militia to defend the war machines.
Yeah, I have in my core. I kept a fast go away. I have 50 helbards. They're called
light infantry, heavy infantry.
Heavy infantry. Swept shields for helbards, full command, banner of speed.
And there's 50 of them.
I have 50 of them, and I have 20 guys with hammer and shield, heavy infantry, standard musician.
Are they still called detachments?
They're called support unit, so they can charge when they're charging the halberdiers in the flank. So giving a lot of combat resolution. I have 3 units of 10 state militia, which are skirmish, and 2 of them have bows. So basically on one line they fill 12 inches.
So for each,
So
each unit
I'll
is 12.
take one at the back line for the corner. I'll take one on the other side. So I'll make like a what's it called?
like
lock,
a V shape,
wedge.
a wedge, yeah.
a wedge.
So you just block the complete.
And I
block
put
the
my war
complete
machines
corner.
into that wedge.
Yeah.
Nej,
So yeah, you block the corner of the table where you're castling with the state militia, because you have 2 times 12 inches to block it,
So
and
you
then
block ambushes.
yeah, so ambushes can't come in, and then you have all the and if they don't have ambushes and they have scouts, then you can move in a way that blocks the 12 inches or the 18 inches.
The 18 inches.
Yeah, yeah. So
Scouts are really easy to block off.
So the scouts don't come close to the war machines, and ambushes can't close in on him, and he's sitting in the corner. And this doesn't prevent in any way, shape, or form from these Flaggelants from just YOLOing away from all the protection of this, because they're unbreakable.
Yeah,
so you
they
will
can
never
fuck.
ever, you have to kill them, and they can hold their own. I mean, they do retarded things while clearing chaff and whatnot, but if you, it's like a tar pit. If you charge it, you have to kill every single one of them.
yeah.
But it's a target that will kill you.
But it's a tar pit that will really, really beat you unless you have like a 1+ armor
Yeah,
save.
I think the only thing that could possibly beat this is like a silver elf gun line with loads of shooting.
Yeah.
And that could kill the flagellants.
Yeah, the bow line with 100 arrows.
100 arrows. 100 arrows a turn. Yeah.
But we see like
It's still toughness 4 though.
but we see the problem with gun lines. But eventually, like all the gun lines do really well when we play.
We can't find the solutions to cracking these gun lines open, and that means that you could actually, to a singles tournament, you could bring any of these gun line setups that we have experimented with, and relatively safely expect to at least 10-10 in every single game.
Yeah, I think following on, I'm not actually sure if we're going to include the tournament report that we just did. It was a bit shit. But following on from that, I played against a Skaven gun line, which had 2 cannons, 12 Jezziels. I'm just going to drink. I don't know what the name is.
Just that was right enough.
2 engineers which give them +1 to hit, give them extra armor piercing, I think, as well. And then it was the Grey Seer. I'm just going to drink it. But it's not called the Grey Seer.
Something with problem.
Yeah, something like that. And that has it had like the warp lightning spell. Drink. It's probably not called that.
Black lightning.
Black lightning, and the engineers have black lightning. So it was 3 magic missiles, 12 Jezlier shots,
Wow.
and 2 cannons. That was the first game.
Yeah.
I played it for a 10-10. I think I probably could have won if I'd have remembered the objectives, and we didn't play 6 turns because he had so many dice to roll, and he had all the small weapons teams as well. And then the second game I played another gun line with highborn elves. He had 40 archers, 3 bolt throwers, the bow of Elu. They're called Seagull Reapers. Drink. I'm gonna get so drunk. He had, what else do you have? He had high magic. White magic. That's another magic missile. And then I played all the skinks in the world with the poison and yeah. So like gun lines are just everywhere at the moment.
It's just everything is shooting because it's simply more effective.
Yeah.
Because you can reach your opponent without him reaching you, and with the 9th age you can actually bring it in sufficient numbers that you can actually win games off of it. And combine that with random charge distances, which means that you basically just fail those charges.
Yeah.
It's in my opinion especially bad with Swift Stride, but even with the regular infantry as well, you have to get basically smack on them before you even do the charge, and that leaves you completely open to being redirected 100,000 times.
Yeah.
Because these gun lines are still bringing the flag that they need to make sure that they can keep pounding you for 6 turns.
Yeah.
And seeing as flying has received massive nerfs, then you don't have the speed to rush them anymore.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think I would like to at least put a kind of a. Let's make it a competition. I want you guys who listen to the podcast. I think we had 300 listens to the last episode.
Make a list that will beat the Empire list.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Post a list somewhere. So
Yeah, in the comment section on the 9th Age forum under this podcast, I would like people to suggest lists that can beat the Empire Gunline list. Yeah, I think maybe we just go through it quickly one more time, a bit more in depth. with the Gunline list, and then we would like some feedback from you guys. We want to hear a list that can beat the following list. Go.
Prelate on altar with Locket of Sunna, dusk stone, great weapon, barding. Oh, I have to remember all these items. The Armour of Volund, plate armor immune to lethal strike, and a BSB with a lucky shield, and a level 2 with Book of Arcane Lore.
The BSB just has a lucky shield? Is he mounted or?
No, mounted.
On foot with a flag and a lucky shield.
In his pants.
And the level 2 light with Discus scroll, and
You have another level 2 Tome of Arcane Lore?
I only have 2 level 2s.
Okay.
You said that.
Okay, so that one.
And so the core was 50 helbards, 3 units of 10 militias, 2 of them with bows, van of speed on the helbards, which are not called helbards, I'll drink.
Have 20 heavy infantry
At 20 heavy infantry with hammer and shield, banner and musician. The special is 2 cannons and mortar. The wagon with the lightning
Arcane engine with
Foresight, yeah.
Yeah.
and
Flagus.
26 Flaggelants with the champion, 29 Flaggelants with the champion, steam tank, and looking at you guys, I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so that's roughly the list. What I'll do is I'll post the list in the show notes as well, so you can see it for yourself. You can have a read, and please, we would really, really like to see a list that can beat this.
Yes.
And if you post the list, we will give you a shout out. Maybe. I don't know what else we can give you.
We'll figure something out. Maybe.
Yeah,
We'll mention you in the next podcast.
Yeah. We'll mention
talk
you.
over what the list that we think is best.
Yeah,
for dealing with.
And if you post, give us a really shit list. We're gonna berate you and say you're a crap person.
That was harsh.
Yeah. So
now people want to put out their lists.
Okay, we'll edit that out. Yeah. So give us a shout out. Yeah. Sorry again. Yeah. Let us know what lists you think that can beat that, and we would really like to know. I think now we should talk a little bit about what we think that should be changed in either the rules or the army list or the army book to kind of make it more balanced and more fair, and actually something can beat this. So we talked earlier, we said that the things that are really good are the war altar. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
The war altar, the cannons, and the flagellants.
The war altar is the core of the army. If you can take down the war altar, take out so many synergies in the army that it kind of falls apart.
Yeah, but it's hard to kill it with a 1+1+4+.
And not to mention the fact that it's also stubborn.
It's also stubborn.
Yeah.
And it has five wounds with a 4+ war save is really, really hard.
I'm thinking about that old Dawn of War game. Have you ever played it with Space Marines? And the intro is where they are running towards the Necrons, which are the zombie things. And the Space Marines yell, "Destroy the monolith," and then it's over.
Yeah, and that's big. You have to destroy the monolith, which is basically the prelate.
Yeah.
But
Obviously, you can kill it with a cannon, but it's still got a 4+4.
in the event of a cannon, of an opponent cannon, I can assure you that the Pope wagon will find somewhere to hide. It will find somewhere to hide. It will find somewhere to hide. It will sit in a corner, and then when its banishment is needed, it will like squeak forward 7 inches, and then be like, and then start shamming missiles at you. Yeah. So once you've killed whatever 1, 2, or maybe 3 things that threaten that one war altar, then you can, until that point, you'll just hide it and then use the rest of your army to kill it.
Yeah, I think something that has happened with the Vampire Covenant list. We had the Court of the Damned. And they've nerfed it a bit recently to make it. They gave it mounts protection 5+. They changed it to innate defense 5+, and that means that you can't combine it with armor, which means that the maximum armor save you can get is 2+5+. That's the maximum defensive kit you can get. Is 2+5+. And what I would really, really like to see is on all these kind of war altar chariot type builds.
2 + 5 +
2
max.
+ 5 + max.
Yes.
Just change the rules.
It's the same thing for the Skaven Bell.
Yeah,
and
it's the same thing
Skaven
for
Plate
the-
Furnace.
The White Lion chariot with the dude on top. It's the same thing for the Dark Elf altar with the 1+4+. If you can probably still get that.
It hasn't had a 1+, but it has distracting and a 4+ armor save.
Yeah.
And a focus with war save still, right?
Yeah.
Toughness 5 only now.
It's just too much. Like, it's too hard. There shouldn't be any units in the game that you can't kill. I would also like to see them get rid of Bluffer's Helm. It's in every single list. It's way too good. Like the +1 armor save, giving people 1+ and reloads.
It's not way too good because it takes up a lot of other defensive item slots.
Yeah, but on all these, half these things have 4+ war saves anyway.
You
can't take it on large
You
targets.
can't take it on large targets.
Which helps it a lot. So I don't think the problem is the Bluffer's Helm. I think the problem is the predominance of 1+ rerollable armor saves combined with ward saves. And then these wagons have a tendency towards being stubborn.
Yeah.
Or unbreakable or something of the like.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing. I mean, they removed the stubborn element from all the units in the game, but they reintroduced it in all these war platforms, and I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
But
I think you're going to see these in ETC all over the place.
The combination of many wounds and high ward save is also a problem.
And the thing about it is that you get that ward save out of your magic points allowance, outside of it, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So you
It's
can still
usually
have
built
all
in,
your
right?
stuff, You can make him as killy as you want, because he crawls on top of an altar or whatever. Now, the killiness is not usually the trouble of the altar, but let's say the plague priest on the plague thingy from Vermintide. It means that you can just put the points into making him more killy or doing like
Or
item
more durable,
carry or whatever. Yeah. And it's because for 150 points he gets a 4+ ward save and 3 extra wounds and 1 extra toughness.
Yeah.
And and all the special grinding attacks and whatnot in the world. And it's just, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think it's a hangover from 8th edition where characters on chariots were shit, and now it's like, oh, let's just change it so people run it. It's too good now. Change it back.
The chariots are fine. It's just the models.
The kind of same thing,
It's
isn't it?
all the same models that introduce a ward save. That's usually a 4+ on a model on a chariot by just taking them out for no apparent extra cost.
Yeah.
But also, if you nerf them too much, it's too easy to shoot them with war machines. But again, only some armies have access to those kind of war machines.
Yeah, exactly. So the argument has always been, oh no, if I have him on this thing, then a war machine will take him right on out. And that leads us on to the next point, which is probably ordnance. Multiple wounds, ordnance.
Exactly. This is the next thing that we think should change is ordnance. We think that ordnance D3+2 is too much against flyers.
Absolutely.
And it's better than D6.
Yeah, and in every way.
If it was D6, I think it would be much fairer because
absolutely.
it would be a bit less random, a bit more random, and yeah, maybe you would kill a dragon in one turn, but it's not going to happen every time. It's going to happen 1 in 6 times. But if you do D3+2, it's more.
It's set in stone.
Yeah, it's just fucked. I think we would like to see ordnance change to D3 and D3+1 versus flyers.
Yeah.
I think that would be a bit more balanced, and then that would also counterbalance the war altar things, because they could only get D3 wounds rather than D3+1.
And there would be no need for them to have a 4+ ward save now. Now they could be easily acquainted with a 5+ ward save.
Yeah.
And all the gunlines would also take an indirect nerf in the sense that they can't just handle everything coming at them easily.
I think what we saw today, I played against the Infernal Dwarves, and I played the Rhymer Prince list. So with the Rhymer Prince, you can take 3 big flyers, and I had 2 phoenixes and a dragon, and he just couldn't kill everything in time. And I played it quite well. I think I probably should have. I won in the end, but I probably shouldn't have won if we'd have been playing properly.
He forgot he had a lord capable of one-shotting your dragon.
Yeah, but the thing was that it was just it was saturation, and he had too many targets to shoot at once. And I think if it's nerfed a little bit, then it would make it a lot easier to do that. Because right now, nothing can take the gun lines. Nothing.
I mean, I still say, like, we were all thinking pre your game, we were all thinking that, well, we bet basically that you would get no more than, I bet Rasmus that you would get no more than 8 points out of that matchup.
But you also miscast really bad, blew up half of his army in the first turn.
Yeah.
Well, he killed 9 dwarves.
Only 9?
Yeah, but they're still expensive.
But it's still really expensive dwarves,
Yeah.
and that was basically his only
and
unit.
and you know his war machines, if they hit the, I mean, luckily for you, you have 6 wounds on the birds.
6 wounds on the dragon, 5 on the birds.
Yeah. I mean, if you're unlucky, those war machines will. They should. I mean, because they're all re-rolling the scatter dice as well. That's another thing. All of these armies have engineers.
Yeah.
Right. So they're just re-rolling all these dice anyway.
Do you have engineers in your list?
No.
Just cheap and cheerful. It also works.
Yeah.
But the catapults are far more reliable than the cannons for that price. But if you include the engineer, I feel like the catapults become much better.
Yeah, well, you get to reroll the scatter dice, so it's a third chance you're going to hit.
Like
Rather
cannon,
than 6.
like a cannon, like an Empire cannon without engineer, shooting at a large target, +1 to hit, it's 3+ in short range. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's without an engineer. Do you get the ballistic skill of the engineer?
Yeah. So if there is an engineer nearby, it's 2+.
Shit. Yeah, it's just too much. And then with the Empire gunline, when you actually get there, you still have to kill like 50 Flaggelants, which
You have to do 100 wounds.
Yeah.
The thing is that everybody I've been playing, it has walked really fast up to the death zone in front of my army, which are 15 inches or something, and then we have been using like a couple of turn dancing with each other, seeing who could redirect the other guys the most, and the Empire army wins that game because they're inflicting more casualties than their stuff.
Yeah. And the steam tank is just...
Steam tank
really
just takes
good
care
on
of making sure that nothing comes around from
The
whatever
steam
side.
tank is really good at protecting the flank.
Extremely good.
Extremely good, and you still have almost 100 wounds, and you have 3 units. 100 wounds.
Yeah.
You have to do 100 wounds.
You have to kill... I mean, yeah, they have no armor, but the toughness 4.
They have no armor, but it's 100 wounds from the heavy militia and the Flaggelants.
Even if you have 50
and also
shots a turn.
also the support troop.
I have 160 wounds in the army.
If you have 50 shots a turn and you hit 30, you're still not gonna. You're gonna kill like 10 a turn. It's just not enough.
And that is heavy.
Yeah, and that's a lot.
That's why you need the 100 bows.
Yeah, 100 bows maybe do it. But
A lot of poison arrows.
Yeah, I don't know if you can actually fit that in. You can only have 50 black arrows.
Yeah, and like 30 poison and 10 pathfinders, so 90 shots.
Yeah, I would propose to combat the brokenness of the Flaggelants is like toughness 3. What I don't even know.
It's the poke wagon. That's the thing that's really the root.
It's a buff wagon that you cannot. That is so hard to kill.
Yeah, it's impossible to take away from those Flagellants. And I mean the price of the prelate is so low as well. What is the price of your lord?
400 points.
Just below 400 points.
We talked about him in
And he will
Rasmus.
kill every other combat lord.
Yeah, and it's still casting spells, and it's still unbreakable, and it's still supporting your army. If it costs 25% extra, if it costs 500 points, you still take it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Without thinking about it, you would still take it if it was 25% more expensive.
Yeah. It only has stubborn.
What?
Stubborn leadership 10.
Stubborn leadership 9, but I have light, so I'll give him +1 leadership. So the entire army will have leadership 10.
In 18 range.
That's actually how I beat your army. Was you were fighting some spearmen, and you were fighting them for like loads of rounds of combat, and eventually I managed to get your BSB out of range of the.
Oh yeah.
Of it, and then I just got lucky on a dice roll, and you rolled an 11 or something. But that, how often does that happen? It just doesn't work like that. Yeah, so I would like to see toughness 3 on the Flagellants. I think toughness 4 is kind of mitigating their weakness.
Power creep.
Yeah, and the weapon skill is really good as well. Weapon skill 3 with hatred and +1 to hit. Maybe it needs hatred needs a change. Like we were talking earlier, like rerolls just in general. Rerolls are really strong.
But how would you change that? You would make the warlords easier to be killed, maybe only a 5 or 2.
Yeah.
And change the Flaggelants to
Weapon skill 2, toughness 3.
No, just make them toughness 3.
Yeah.
I think that would be perfectly fine.
They still, you just have an easier time killing them, but they're still really good because they get to strike even if they die in combat.
Ultimate glass hammer.
Yeah, or you just take away the ability that they get to strike. I mean, it's kind of a little bit fluffy, but...
It's a little bit fluffy, and it's really, really strong.
Yeah, it's unbelievably strong.
It's like really, really strong. If Lisbon had an ancient, it would be amazing.
If we talk internal synergy in the Empire Sonnstahl book, why would you ever take a hero level warrior? What's he called? I'm drinking.
A prelate?
Yeah, no, that's the big one. What's the small one called?
I can't remember.
And no one even knows what he's called because no one's using him.
No one uses them.
But why would you ever use him? Because you can just get the big one who got the aura bubble spells for no points at all.
What does the small one get?
He doesn't get anything. He gets to cast it on the unit that he's in.
Oh, that's shit.
He get a big fat dry dick in the ass.
A dry dick in the ass. Oh.
He's called a preacher. So for wastage...
Preacher.
But I mean, so for 65 points, you are almost halfway to the price of the altar, and the altar just makes sure that the pontiff performs better in every single way. I mean, why wouldn't you? And then you compare Flaggelants to, let's just say, Imperial Guard with, I don't know, great weapons.
They're the same price, right?
Well, the Flaggelants are 8 points, and the great sword...
8 points each?
Yeah.
They're 8 points each?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And then you have the Imperial Guards, who are 11 points each. I would never, ever, ever touch the Imperial Guards compared to the Flaggelants.
But even if the Imperial Guard, if it was 1-on-1, even if the Imperial Guard kills the Flagellant, they get 2 attacks back.
Yeah. It doesn't even compare. There's no logic behind it.
Yeah. What? 8 points each? Seriously?
Yeah, but I know. So the Flaggelants are really strong, not least because of the way it combos with the buff wagons that are also in the army.
So we can conclude that the Empire of Sonnstahl is like a medium army.
So yeah, you guys who are listening to the podcast and coming to Ammerhammer in May the 5th,
you will have the undivided pleasure of Rasmus's spank army.
Dick Puncher. Yeah, so look out for the Dick Puncher list coming in.
I think you called my name the groin-punisher.
Well, I didn't want to put Dick Basher on the internet, so I called it groin basher instead. Yeah, but yeah, that's going to be an army that you'll be facing in Ammerhammer.
Fuck with clubs.
Thanks for listening to episode 9. This one was a bit of a filler. We recorded this a few weeks ago, but with all the Sylvan Elf army book review and all the different reviews that we've been doing, we didn't have a chance to release it until now. This is a prequel to episode 10, which will be coming out at the weekend. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and you can look forward to hearing episode 10, which is going to be a full Ammerhammer preview episode with some interesting reviews and stuff. It was recorded last night, so I'm just about to edit it today, so you can hear that at the weekend. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry it was a bit short, and we're looking forward to seeing you at Ammerhammer next weekend on the 5th of June.